The storm howled outside the old family house, rain pounding relentlessly against the windows as Emily and her siblings gathered in the dimly lit living room. The flickering light of a lone candle cast eerie shadows that danced across the walls, amplifying the tension in the room. On the worn wooden floor between them sat an ancient Ouija board, its edges chipped and stained from years of forgotten use. With nervous giggles and a shared thrill, the four siblings placed their fingers lightly on the planchette, pushing it gently across the board. The room seemed to grow colder, the air heavier. The candle flickered violently, as if resisting the unseen force stirring within the board. At first, the messages were harmless, "Hello, who's there?" But soon the planchette moved with a chilling purpose, spelling out a single, dreadful sentence: "One of you will vanish." A nervous laugh escaped Emily's lips. "It's just a game," she whispered, trying to convince herself as much as her siblings. They ended the session abruptly, pushing the board aside and blowing out the candle. Outside, thunder rumbled, and the storm's fury seemed to swallow their uneasy laughter. But the next morning brought no comfort. Their beloved dog, Max, was gone, no footprints in the mud, no sign of a struggle. Just vanished. That night, the house transformed into a place of unease. Footsteps echoed softly in the hallway, slow, deliberate, but with no one there to own them. The old lights began to flicker erratically, casting ominous shadows that stretched and recoiled across the walls like restless spirits. Emily sat frozen in bed, heart pounding, eyes wide open. The Ouija board's warning was no longer a game. Something dark had awakened, stalking her family in the shadows, and the curse had only just begun. The attic was a place the family rarely visited, a dusty, forgotten corner of the old house where forgotten memories and relics from the past gathered in silence. Emily climbed the creaking stairs one afternoon, drawn by a strange compulsion she couldn't explain. The air was thick with dust and the scent of aged wood. In a shadowed corner, she found it, an antique mirror with an ornate, tarnished silver frame. The glass was cloudy, but as she wiped away the dust, a chill ran down her spine. The reflection looked wrong, darker, deeper, as if something lurked just behind her image. That evening, Emily showed the mirror to her brother, Jake. At first, he joked about ghosts, but then he froze, staring hard into the glass. "Did you see that?" he whispered. The mirror's surface shimmered, and for a split second, a hooded figure appeared standing silently behind him. The next morning, Jake was gone. No note, no sign of struggle, just an empty bed and a lingering coldness in the room. The family's dread deepened. The curse from the Ouija board was no longer a distant threat, it was stalking them, trapping them in a nightmare. Emily returned to the attic that night, eyes fixed on the mirror. The surface rippled like water, and the faintest whisper echoed in her ears: "Balance must be kept, the house was no longer theirs alone." Something ancient had been awakened, and it demanded more than just a game. The nights grew darker, and the house felt heavier with every passing hour. Emily's mother began to change. It started subtly. She would wake up exhausted, with smeared red marks on her arms, and strange scratches appeared on the walls. But soon, her behavior grew more alarming. One night, Emily awoke to soft footsteps echoing down the hallway. Quiet but purposeful. Following the sound, she found her mother standing motionless in front of the Ouija board, eyes glazed over as if possessed. Slowly, her mother lifted a red marker and began writing words on the peeling wallpaper. Emily's heart pounded as she read the cryptic names: ancestors long dead, relatives she had only heard stories about, many who had died under mysterious or tragic circumstances. The words seemed to bleed off the wall, as if written in fresh blood. Desperate to understand, Emily searched old family records. What she discovered chilled her to the bone: a pattern of sudden disappearances, unexplained accidents, and whispered curses stretching back generations. The Ouija board was no mere toy, it was a conduit connecting the living to a dark past that demanded reckoning. Her mother's sleepwalking episodes worsened, each time revealing more secrets from beyond. The family was trapped in a cycle of pain, and the curse was tightening its grip. Unless they could break it, no one was safe. With the curse growing stronger and fear engulfing the family, Emily knew they needed help beyond anything they had ever imagined. She reached out to a psychic medium renowned for confronting restless spirits and dark energies. In a dimly lit room, surrounded by flickering candles and ancient talismans, Emily and her family gathered for a séance. The medium's voice was calm but powerful as she called out to the spirits beyond the veil, seeking answers. The Ouija board was placed at the center once more, planchette poised. Slowly, it began to move, this time not guided by trembling hands but by an unseen force. Through the board, the spirits spoke. They revealed a horrifying truth: generations ago, their ancestor had made a pact during a time of war, an unholy agreement trading safety and fortune for dark protection. But the pact demanded balance. For every soul spared, one must be claimed. The family realized the curse was not random, it was a judgment, a reckoning tied to blood and betrayal. As the séance progressed, the room grew colder, shadows deepened, and unseen eyes watched from the corners. The spirits warned that the only way to survive was to confront the past and break the ancient pact, before it was too late. Determined to end the nightmare once and for all, Emily gathered her family in the living room, the Ouija board laid out before them one last time. The house was silent, too silent. A heavy, oppressive energy filled the air, like the calm before a storm. With trembling hands, Emily lit a match and set the board aflame. The wood crackled and blackened, flames licking hungrily as smoke curled toward the ceiling. But the fire unleashed something far worse than they had imagined. The house erupted in chaos, windows shattered, doors slammed violently, and chilling screams echoed through the halls. Invisible hands clawed at Emily's skin, pulling her toward the antique mirror in the attic. As the fire consumed the board, a shadow materialized in the flickering light. The missing brother, Jake, appeared at the threshold. His eyes glowed with an unnatural light. "Is it really over?" Emily whispered, hope battling fear. Jake smiled, but it wasn't his smile. It was a smile that belonged to the curse itself. The board was gone, but its dark presence had found a new home, within their family forever.